Well, so much for Disney going broke. We're going to talk about Disney making some deals with the NFL, making deals with the WWE. And it looks like they're going all in on sports. That is Bob Iger's thing. Bob Iger, a huge fan of ESPN sports, and Disney's going all in on sports. And I know at least WWE fans are not real happy about this. They're going to be streaming their live events, WrestleMania, on this ESPN, whatever. I can't even keep track of the names of these apps anymore, of these streaming services. Basically, ESPN is going to get all the live events for WWE. They've got to deal with the NFL. They traded, I guess, ownership of their streaming platforms for like a 10% stake in ESPN. It's all congealing into one thing. Now, will the football helmets have mouse ears on them? I don't know. But there are some concerns about this. They said that ESPN, and this one was coming from The Wrap. They said that ESPN might not cover the NFL so fairly anymore. And I know that one of their broadcasters, the one woman, she got blasted for, I guess, wearing Green Bay Packers attire to a Packers event when she's actually a Bears fan. But you got to do what you got to do, right? Who's signing your checks? You got to do what you're told. Anyway, we're gonna talk about this, try to make sense of it. This news just broke this morning. They had a big earnings call, which I think I'm going to cover with Geeky Sparkles later on today. We'll go over some of that, including the big news, which is a non-surprise to anybody that's listened to us for any amount of time, that Disney and Hulu are going to merge officially, and it's all going to be Disney Plus. Oh my God, huge shocker. Yeah, right? Because you don't want like 50 different brands out there with the freaking tab on tab. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Make sure you're still subscribed. There's some weird stuff going on at YouTube. I'm seeing some regulars on our channel who you can see on the dashboard, like who's actually subscribed to you and who isn't. And these are people they know always comment on our videos, and they don't have the little thing next to their name that they're subscribed. And I'm like, did YouTube unsubscribe them? I don't know. There's some weird stuff going on. So, given how everything's going down with YouTube, make sure you're still subscribed, please. It definitely does help us out. Thank you very much. So I guess we'll go this first. This was the big one. This is what caught my attention. Like, look, I'm not a huge football fan. Weirdly enough, it's so weird. Everybody talks about how boring. I know Wes on Thinking Critical and was talking with Doc and I think Aaron Sparrow this weekend. I was listening to him when I was mowing the lawn. And they were talking about how boring baseball is. I like baseball better than football. But it could be because I played, right? I didn't play professionally, obviously, but I used to play when I was younger, collected baseball cards, did the whole thing. So I was like really into baseball back in the day, and not so much now. But I always like baseball better. Nobody talks about baseball. They don't really care. They don't really care about it. Anyway, this has come from Wall Street Journal. Disney paying $1.6 billion for WWE rights. ESPN unit will stream WrestleMania and other major offerings for 5 years. They're just making deals all over. I know people are getting pissed because it's like the wrestling's not in one place. Now, it never really was. I remember when I used to be big into WWF when I was a kid, it was like spread across USA Network, and TNT had WCW, and that's what I remember. But yeah, it is like you have to subscribe to like 30 different streaming services to watch everything. It's like, why don't you guys just have a WWE app? It's just like, because wrestling's huge now, right? You can pay for itself, just all wrestling all the time. They might have, I don't know if they have it or not, but they said, yeah, Disney's ESPN, TKO Group's World Wrestling Entertainment have reached more than $1.6 billion in an agreement that will give the sports media company exclusive rights to many, not all, WWE's most high-profile events. The 5-year deal, which will begin in 2026, includes the U.S. streaming rights to major events, including WrestleMania and SummerSlam. ESPN will pay $325 million a year for the rights, according to people familiar with the matter. That is a significant increase from WWE's current 5-year deal with Peacock, which was valued at $900 million, according to people familiar with the pact. The new agreement with ESPN follows a 10-year deal the WWE struck with Netflix last year for its weekly show Raw, valued at more than $5 billion. Raw has become a solid performer for the streamer. I think they were having issues with it, though, if I remember correctly, when they first started streaming it, because Netflix was not used to streaming events live. And I guess my thing was like, you're Netflix, like you're worth a cajillion dollars. How can you not keep up with a live stream when freaking cable TV can do it? I thought it was kind of weird, but yeah, I know they've been doing more and more live. So it is weird. You have to subscribe to everything now to get it. In fact, I'll go out to the comments on the official announcement, and people were like, yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. The events will be available on ESPN's new streaming service, also called ESPN. It's going to be $30 a month. Under the deal, select coverage will be simulcast on ESPN's cable channels. Okay, select coverage, not the good stuff. The good stuff you're going to pay $30 a month for. I felt like it made a ton of sense for ESPN, said Jimmy Pitaro, ESPN's chairman. It's a significant content acquisition we believe is going to really bolster our direct-to-consumer launch and drive our streaming future. Yeah, they know people are going to pay for wrestling. People are going to pay through the nose for wrestling and football. Baseball, nobody gives a shit about, except for me. I still watch the Little League World Series, right? I mean, because I'm originally from that part of the state. Williamsport, Pennsylvania. They got Little League Baseball, and it was just part of the culture over there. Like if you're from Eastern PA, baseball's a huge, huge part of the culture over there. So it was like I kind of grew up with that, But whatever. I'll just go crawl in a hole. Nobody cares about my baseball. For Peacock, WWE content was instrumental in helping the service establish itself and reduce churn since the deal. Peacock has added more. So yeah, Peacock, they can't afford it. Can they afford it? I don't know. Peacock has added more sports, and they're going to have the NBA, ESPN, TKO are already partners in UFC fighting. ESPN carries and streams UFC fights as part of a deal valued at $300 million annually. That pact expires at the end of the year, and the price tag is expected to sharply increase. Yeah, the buy-in is cheap, and then they're gonna gouge you. ESPN has been on the deal-making spree ahead of the launch of its direct-to-consumer services this fall. So basically, what I'm getting, we'll talk about the NFL thing too. Oh, there it is. ESPN is in talks with Major League Baseball about a rights package, just months after it exercised a clause to opt out of the final 3 years. Okay, there we go. People still give a shit about baseball, just not as many. Anyway, you normally can't. Can you catch a football? They get footballs I don't think they get footballs in the stands, right? But you can get baseball. I'm just saying. Did you get a basketball? I guess if a basketball goes out into the crowd, then you got problems. Yeah, so this is interesting. They're doing what they were doing with Disney Plus, in my opinion, that they're going to be like, oh, we're going to launch big. So we're going to make all these huge deals and sink all this money into this launch to get people in to the buy-in. Right. But then what we saw with Disney Plus was like, the promise was you're going to have the entire Disney archive. You're going to have movie quality Marvel and Star Wars shows all the time. And it worked for like the first year because they had WandaVision and I forget half of them, but WandaVision had its pretty decent budget, right? And then The Mandalorian was pretty good, and after that, you can see the quality kind of drop off. It's kind of like that horse picture meme where the ass end of the horse is drawn really well, and then the front of the horse is like a freaking stick figure. That's what Disney Plus has become over the last couple of years, and the same thing will happen to ESPN. I'm sure they'll make a bunch of big deals. And then they'll kind of look at what panned out, what didn't pan out. Are people watching wrestling? Yes or no? Do they want too much to renew wrestling? Yes or no? So this is the official WWE gold check account. Remember when nobody was going to get a blue check or a gold check from Elon Musk? They were not going to pay Elon Musk for Twitter. These motherfuckers pay for Twitter. Well, they pay through the nose. They have a gold check. They're paying through the nose for Twitter. I'm just saying. Breaking news, WWE premium live events are headed to ESPN platform starting 2026. People said, Joe Russo here says, WWE murdering its streaming fan base with a 200% price hike. Are they still going to be on Peacock or just ESPN? I think Peacock too. Everything was supposed to leave Peacock at the beginning of the year for Netflix. I don't know. That's Disney, which means Hulu. No, it's all going to be the same thing there, Ricky MFD. It's all going to be the same thing. I just renewed my Peacock annual plan. Sounds like no more Peacock. I'm out. We're stuck with WWE during WCW, but I have such a hatred for Disney and ESPN that I just won't make that transition. I have no issue paying $30 a month. I'm not broke. As corny as the $9.99 stuff was, I miss it. Bunch of nomads. Yeah, pretty much. Like, again, when I was a kid, when I was a boy, and I used to play baseball with my friends and go to the arcade to play the video games, I also used to watch professional wrestling. I used to watch a lot of WWF. That's why I did the video about Hulk Hogan, because Hulk Hogan was a huge deal to kids in the 80s and the 90s. I actually liked Hollywood Hulk Hogan. He was such an asshole. I liked Hollywood Hogan. But, I used to go to tapings too. Like I don't think you guys are like, I was really into wrestling too. We used to go to tapings. I used to go with my cousin. We used to always go. We'd, be seat fillers, whatever. Both WWF and WCW. I went a couple times with my brother when he was little. California, we'd go see Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior. I have a handwritten letter from the Ultimate Warrior somewhere. He wrote me a letter. I actually tried out for his comic book he did in the 90s, and I got rejected because he said my stuff was too cartoony. It needed to be more like aggro. It needed to be more extreme. But he was very nice about it. I have it somewhere, and I don't know what it is. Now he's gone now. I'm like, man, I need to frame that. Like, you don't get formal rejection letters very much, but having one that's actually handwritten by one of the most popular wrestlers of the last couple decades, it's kind of a big deal, right? And he was nice enough I could barely read his writing. He was like a doctor, but it was like a 2-page letter. He's like going panel by panel, like, yeah, this is too cartoony, and we want people to think that the Warrior's like really tough and not like doofy. I was like, okay, he's right. He was right, but I don't think anybody remembers the comic. Anyway, so I was like really into it, and but on USA, it was on USA for years, and you knew every Monday night you're going to watch wrestling, and on weekends you're going to watch wrestling. TNT, it was that way for years. Now it's like every 3 years because these streaming deals. Where is my wrestling at? And that's a pain in the ass, right? I don't know if I want to get back into wrestling now. I've been tempted. I'm like, do I want to dip back into this? It seems like it's really different than it was. But I haven't really watched professional wrestling with any regularity for 20 years. So yeah, I'm a little lapsed. Like, I see these people and like, so-and-so did so-and-so and God is so-and-so. And I'm like, who the fuck is that? It's like, well, he's one of the biggest wrestlers right now. I'm like, I don't know who he is. I didn't know who John Cena was. I knew John Cena from the movies first. I was like, oh, John Cena. Oh, he's a wrestler too? Okay. All right. I do know The Rock was a wrestler because he started when I was kind of getting out of it. Rocky Maivia. I remember it was Rocky Maivia. Anyway, Allie says, you just gave your US viewers a very strong incentive to use a VPN to watch on Netflix. Good job. Bro, if I got to pay for ESPN Plus to watch wrestling, I'm dead ass never watching this shit again. People saying WWE is nickel and diming fans forgot the pay-per-view model would do that. Yeah, it was $50 for pay-per-view, and you were supposed to do a head count or something. It was ridiculous. I remember that. We actually did do pay-per-view for a couple of the WrestleManias. And I remember that being like a luxury item. It's like you get to watch it live. And like 2 years, yeah, if you miss it, you have to, like, you'd see clips on USA from it, but you'd never see the whole event. And then like 2 years later, you could buy the VHS or whatever and watch like the past WrestleManias. Yeah, it looks like when Cena's done, I am too. You're going to see a dip in viewership in the US. Not that you care. This is going to suck. Wow, the backlash is severe. This is going to suck. They're going to start charging for PLEs instead of having them with your subscription. Just get a VPN. Fuck, why isn't it Netflix like the rest of the world? Maybe I'll be able to watch Royal Rumble on ESPN. Peacock is pretty horrid as far as interface and whatever. Live look at me dusting off. So I guess this means no more streaming on Peacock. I assume this means no more stream, other factors. Yeah, it's whoever's paying. Nope, I don't like it. People complain about the price of eggs and you think this is going to fly. I'm just saying what most people are probably thinking. I'm going to tell you the truth, and we're going to talk about this maybe a little bit later. The economy does suck right now. I don't know who's saying the economy is great. A lot of people are like, the economy's surging back. I'm like, no. If you're actually on the ground and we have a retail business, which I'm seriously thinking about shuttering when our lease is up, because people don't have disposable income now. They really don't. And they're cutting back. They're cutting the cord. This is the thing. You're launching a new streaming service. Now, it is sports, and sports is like people, for some reason, it's like, food, shelter, and sports for some people. I'm not one of those people, but some people will pay through the nose for sports because they can't live without sports. So they're going to do well with this. I mean, I have no doubt they're going to do well with this. But the economy sucks, and people are cutting back on these streaming services, and this just gives them another jumping off point. ESPN sucks. Anything's better than Peacock. You made a huge mistake chasing the money. It's not worth alienating your fan base, bro. We're not paying for that. Holy shit. By the end of 2029, each match will cost $10 to watch and $15 to watch without ads. This tweet is brought to you by Drumstick, the official sponsor of the tweet. This sucks. $30 a month. It's back to pay-per-view prices. Yeah, it was like 50. I think it was like 50 was it 50 for WrestleMania? I think somebody said it was 50. I'm not watching anymore. I don't know why it took so long. This person thinks it's cool. Never going to happen to me. ESPN's a bad choice. Way too expensive. For WWE and sports fans, this move is a game changer, says Mike Odyssey. It's not necessarily a good or bad move. It's a pain in the ass. I mean, again, I always liked that on Monday nights I knew what I was going to be doing. I was going to be watching wrestling. And then Tuesday at school before class, I'd be talking to my friends about last night's matches. Back then, we thought it was all real. It was a simpler time. We thought it was all real. Can I say that? Am I going to get the shit kicked out of me? Probably. Anyway, so it's not just the WWE. That's one I want to focus on, but they have a thing going on with the NFL too. ESPN acquires NFL Network and other media assets as league takes 10% stake in Disney's sports division. So this has been going on for a while. They acquired the NFL Network and certain other media assets of the NFL in exchange for a 10% equity stake. So the agreement, announced Tuesday on the eve of Disney's quarterly earnings report, in the run-up to the NFL season, will give ESPN important new programming for its forthcoming standalone streaming service. One of the marquee assets involved in the deal is a set of 7 regular season NFL games, which have been exclusive to the league-owned channel. Disney's been in business with sports leagues before, acquiring Major League Baseball's tech arm several years ago. Yeah, I do remember that. I forget, was it BAM? Was that what it was? BAM, I think? I don't know. Whatever. It all blends together. Using it as a foundation of his direct-to-consumer streaming push. The notion of the most powerful sports entity of all, at least in the U.S., owning 10% of Disney's foundational sports division represents a major breakthrough. In addition to the sale of the NFL Network, the NFL and ESPN are also entering into a second non-binding agreement. God, this is complicated. Under the pact, the NFL will license to ESPN certain NFL content and other intellectual property to be used by NFL Network and other assets. The deal also includes a provision in which ESPN will own broad rights to the Red Zone brand and distribute the Red Zone channel to pay TV operators. Okay, the NFL will continue to own, operate, and produce the channel and keep digital rights according to ESPN. Launch date and pricing are likely to be announced Wednesday. $30. So here's the official statement. Bob Iger said, today's announcement paves the way for the world's leading sports media brand and America's most popular sport to deliver an even more compelling experience for NFL fans in a way that only ESPN and Disney can. You know, when I think sports, I don't think Disney. I mean, I know that they've had ESPN for a while, but like, I don't think Disney. I don't think Walt thought sports. Yeah, except for Sports Goofy. I don't think, Commissioner Goodall in the NFL built outstanding media assets, and these transactions will add to consumer choice, provide viewers with even greater convenience and quality, and expand the breadth and value of Disney's streaming ecosystem. This is what I'm talking about. Like, everybody gets so passionate about sports, and they get so passionate about their nerd franchises, and they get so passionate about the shit. This is what it actually is, though, to the company. Assets, potential revenue, acquisitions. That, they're not looking at like, this is a great American pastime. You're not hearing them be like, hey, this is a great American this is sports fans, passionate people. We can't wait is to share our love of sports with you. our love of Star Wars with you. It's all like, yeah, mergers, acquisitions, direct to consuming, blah, 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 blah. You know, it sucks. Now, the Wrap is asking a question. They said, can ESPN cover the NFL fairly now that it's officially part of the team? That's a good question. This says, logical as the arrangement might be from a business standpoint, it raises significant issues about the news part of ESPN's acronym. Specifically, what can ESPN say about the NFL in terms of warts and all reporting? That relationship already has a tumultuous history, one that suggests the journalistic aspects of their union will be even more complicated than the financial terms. It says a multi-billion-dollar enterprise, the NFL has been very good at protecting its image and most equally skilled at wringing massive rights commitments from TV networks, and now streaming services eager to tap into its audience reach. Combined, these entities pay the league more than $10 billion annually. Holy shit. ABC, ESPN, CBS, NBC, Fox also operate news divisions, which makes the blurring of the lines between the NFL and the principal sports network an especially thorny endeavor. That is everything, though. Like, all of these media outlets own things that they should be reporting fairly on, but they're not, right? And Disney actually owns, if you look into it, you go down that rabbit hole, there's a flow chart out there of what Disney owns. They own a stake in a lot of different news outlets too. So they're not, you know, why are people not covering Disney fairly? Why are these media outlets not covering Disney fairly? Well, in the case of like, I think it was Vox, they got like a $400 million infusion of cash from Disney. So they're not going to be like, yeah, Disney sucks. You know, get woke, go broke, Disney. Mickey sucks dicky. You know, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get that from them. They did own for a while, they owned Maker Studios, which pretty much kept a couple thousand YouTubers on a leash because that was their ad network. So, you know, it's a very complicated situation. Like, all these media companies have ties to things that they should. So it's not just Disney specific, but it is a good question because ABC is not going to take a big steaming shit on Disney. They're not. Fox will do it because Fox is a competitor now, but they probably wouldn't have done it when they were in the middle of the sale. But now that the sale's over and they're back to being competitors, or at least the Fox News side, they take a steaming dump on Disney all the time. And sometimes that's actually what's going on. Sometimes it's partisan politics, and sometimes it's basically a pissing match between different news outlets and their interests. So, you know, if Rupert Murdoch has an axe to grind with Bob Iger or whatever, then he's going to take a shit on him using Fox News and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? It's weird. It's weird. I mean, basically, it's very hard to trust anybody when it comes to news, because, you know, at all these companies, the ones you hear about, the big company, they're all part of a bigger thing. So yeah, I mean, I get that, but it's really interesting stuff. People don't seem to like it. I'm gonna be honest. The at least on X, the overall sentiment is it's bad news. It's too expensive, and what the fuck is going on? This person asked Jay Leno. I don't think it's that Jay Leno. But is this good or bad? Bad. $30 a month. Bad, not good. Bad. You're going to have to drop $30 for every PLE. Very bad. Extremely bad. $30 a month. Worst news possible. Pretty stupid. They should have went with Netflix. Very bad. You're going to get robbed so bad. As a UFC fan, you're fucked. They're going to charge you out the ass for pay-per-views. $30 a month ESPN versus $20 on sale for a year of Peacock. It's like putting a belt on Batista at WrestleMania 30. Oh my God. Very bad. Very bad, bad. Yeah, nobody's saying it's good. Sorry. So we got to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later. For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.